Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode on the Process Podcast. For today's episode, I'm joined by Isabel Wolf, the general manager here at the Process Programming. And it was her idea for us to have our monthly catch up where she was going to pepper me with some questions reflecting on 2024. What would be my biggest lessons personally and professionally? So, this was basically my therapy session. But we also spent a bit of time looking forward to 2025 and what we have coming up at Coastal Fitness and the Process Programming. Hope you guys enjoy. Isabel, welcome to the Process Podcast.
Thank you.
Today is catch ups with Ed and Iz. We made a commitment to once a month,
It was the last one a month ago.
probably longer than a month ago,
Yeah,
to
I
be
think
honest.
so.
But the idea was every
Yeah.
kind of 3 to 5 episodes, we would jump on the podcast and have a catch up about life here at Coastal and the Process Programming, a little bit more business orientated. And I believe you're going to be leading the show today. But
Yeah.
before that, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you.
You're great.
Yeah.
Why are you great?
Yeah, life's good in all aspects. So I'm great. How are you?
Nice. I'm great as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's go.
Well, we're going to get into it. I actually did not understand the memo that these were more business orientated.
Oh, no, are they not?
I don't know. I think
This
they
was
were
your
just,
idea.
I know. I thought they were just like chatting the shit kind of
Okay, sorry.
episodes.
Yeah, you're right.
But
you're right.
I think everything of our lives, a lot of part of it is to do with our work and our jobs because we just love it so much. So I do think everything that we'll talk about will intertwine with it. So as this is kind of the end of the year, we're just going to do some cheesy end of the year questions to kind of wrap up our year in general. Like, when will this podcast come out? Probably at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, we'll be end of the year, maybe
Yeah.
start of January.
Yeah, so you have had no time to reflect on any of the questions I'm going to ask. So it's literally just go with the flow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to hit you hard with the first
I'm
one.
not good with fast, quick fire.
They're not
You're not
quick
even
fire.
reading off it. You
They're
just
not-
memorize all these
They're
things?
not quick fire. They're still questions that need thought,
Okay.
but you've had no time to think about them.
Yeah. Oh, I'm actually not good at this stuff.
There's no good or bad. You're just talking from the heart.
Okay. Go. Ready.
Okay, so the first question, going straight for the throat. What was the most significant lesson you learned this year? It's been a big year for you, Ed.
Yeah.
It's been full of
Okay.
challenges and
I think
growth.
the thing we talked about in our last podcast, and I think it's just the thing that's the most, it's at the forefront of my mind with everything I'm doing right now with regards to business, which is also very much consuming my mind at the moment. And it is make data-driven decisions. That's been my biggest game changer this year. And so what I mean by that is, okay, when we last jumped on, we talked about the first thing my mentor had said to me, which is basically, Ed, your intuition is terrible and your whole life is being based around intuition. And what he meant by that is that I kind of just like think about a potential idea. I get this feeling that this could be a good thing to do. And I just go for it. And often in business, especially when you have a growing business like ours, which is, bigger than most gyms, I would say, is that making a decision requires a lot of resources, right? So it's not just that I'm making a decision and I'm just going to, spend 10 minutes of my week doing that thing. I'm now bringing people into those jobs. We're putting money and time towards it. And, the main driver behind why we make these decisions is, number one, like, is this providing more value? Is it better serving our people? And number two, financially, like, is this a good financial decision that's going to benefit and help the company grow in the long term? And reflecting back at the last 15 years, I've realized that so many of my decisions have been just gut feelings that haven't had much additional thought other than, yeah, let's just do it. And what often then happens is, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, and you're realizing that you're putting more and more time, more and more energy into something. It's not growing the way that you think or you thought it would do. You then realize, looking back, that it was like, maybe this wasn't actually the best decision for us to do. And it's not to say that it's a waste, because I think that, everything happens for a reason, and there's always great lessons that come from every mistake, and that's what business is all about. But this year, my biggest lesson has been making more accurate informed decisions and having data to support my ideas. So what that has meant is that, okay, I still have gut feelings, right? I still have a gut feeling that this is going to be a good thing to do. I think this is going to be, people are going to love this. I think it's going to be a hit. I think it's going to help our business grow. But then before I just tell everyone on the team we're going to do this thing, it's like, okay, I need to now do my due diligence. Like I need to do the research. I need to, speak to other experts in the field who've been on a similar quest. I need to research market trends. I need to sit down and really do the number crunching to see if this thing is actually going to be what I think it might be. And then, you know, being very thorough in that process and then making the decision, is this worth doing? That has been my biggest lesson, I think, this year. And it's something that I know is going to change the way that I think about all decisions in my life, actually, not just business, but just really, yeah, use the gut as a driver, but you got to have data there to confirm it as well.
So from that biggest learning, what are some changes that we'll be seeing for the upcoming new year in business, in life, if you're using it outside in life? Like what are some of the data that you've collected that now things are going to be different?
Yeah. I think in 2023, 2024, we've created some really amazing additions to Coastal Fitness and the Process programming. We started an education course at the start of this year. We have, launched, added so many new arms to the Process athlete. We've got loads of fixed length programs. We made a splash with High Rocks. Our Live, Perform, Compete and elite training programs are all growing. Build is continuing to grow. We have the affiliate program, which is a 4-year program now, which has, some really long-standing affiliates, who've been with us for 3+ years now, who are continuing to grow and thrive and get better. So I think we have the foundations of lots of really good things now. I think coming up, how we can apply those data-driven decisions into those 3 to 4 areas, Coastal being another one of them as well. I think things we can expect is, I think we're right now in a position where we're actually asking ourselves that exact
Yeah.
question, right? We basically done, a pretty thorough analysis on all of those different areas. And now we're just looking at them. And again, not rushing into a decision, but looking at all of them and saying, okay, where are we really going to pour our energy into in 2025? I think things I can say for sure is that we're really excited about the Process affiliate program. We've got some cool changes coming up on the horizon, some slightly different offerings, listening a little bit more to what the market is telling us they want versus what we thought the market wanted. And hopefully, impacting more businesses and having more people in our Process affiliate family. We have started to make a bit of a splash in China. The Asia Fitness Championships in Shanghai just recently was a really good eye opener and a reminder for just how much our brand has grown in the last year and how much people want to be a part of what we're doing. And I can really see the value that we can bring to help businesses, gym businesses thrive, athletes thrive, and coaches thrive as well. So I think you're going to see a lot more of the Process programming in China in 2025. And then we have the education course. This is our very first year. I think we've had a pretty great first year in many regards. We've run 3 successful cohorts now. We're gearing up for our 4th. We've already got people signed up for it. As to where that goes, I think right now, and I don't have enough data to support this move, but you're going to start to see the Process education running live workshops and doing in-person events versus just everything online, which is something that I feel very passionately about. So yeah, I think there's still bit more researching and, putting our investigator glasses on a bit more before we can have concrete decisions. But one thing we're sure of is that we're going to be sharing all of that with the Process community and the rest of the world when we do make decisions.
Yeah.
What do you think? What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
Am
I
I
think
allowed to ask these questions back to you?
not really, but I
Okay.
will chime one thing I think you did miss is our build classes. So again, that's something that I think has been a really fun journey that we've
Yes.
kind of gone in and out from. We've tried something similar last year and it just didn't feel right for yourself. And then I think one of the biggest things that came out of your mentor was kind of opening our horizons and kind of realizing that we couldn't put all our eggs into one basket. And so personally, one of the biggest things I'm excited for is these build classes, because it's more aligned with what I'm currently into in my training and what I enjoy doing. And yeah, I'd love to just share kind of your growth and around your mindset. Like, yes, this
Mm,
class still follows a lot of the principles that we believe in, like good coaching and smart programming, but it does veer away from performance driven metrics and kind of competition. And it's more of a aesthetic focused female vibe music kind of exploration that we're going down. And
yeah.
I'd love to just for you to talk about that change in your mindset and this future growth that we're trying to get into.
Yeah, so I think we should start by talking about what the build classes
Yeah.
are. So they are well, we have two iterations of it. We've got build and burn,
Yeah.
and we've got build booty. We ran 6 weeks of trial classes,
Did.
and every time we did them for free. We invited anyone who wanted to attend. We had surveys. We hung around. We spoke to all the attendees, and we basically gathered a lot of market research throughout that time. So now we've like curated a class that we're launching in January that I think we're all really proud of and really excited to share. But where did this all come from?
Yeah.
I think for me, it was a bit of a realization that CrossFit here in Hong Kong has kind of slowed down quite significantly over, especially I think just through the pandemic and then
Mm.
post pandemic. It's been really interesting. There's certain places like China where CrossFit post pandemic has boomed, like really gone through this crazy growth trajectory. Hong Kong, we've been doing CrossFit for a lot longer, but if you look at the amount of CrossFit gyms that we have here, it's very much stagnated. The same people who were kind of in it 10 years ago are still in it now, and there's not been many new players to it. And we have found, last year we made a commitment to really pour more energy into trying to, grow our Live Perform Compete program here at Coastal, and we have seen a lot of growth in it, but we still have those kind of quieter classes in the day, and we're kind of scratching our heads to be like, what more can we do to get this thing to be bigger? And I think sometimes the issue is yourself. You need to step up, make improvements, provide more value, and that's the thing that's holding you back. Sometimes it's actually the market and the industry that's just craving something else. And before I can put my hand on heart and say that's what it was, there's been lots of changes in the fitness industry. Like High Rocks has come in the last couple of years and has made a massive splash. It's been amazing for fitness, in my opinion. There's now, especially in Hong Kong, where the local population 5 to 10 years ago, generally speaking, not many people doing weight training, very yoga and running biased. The idea of being strong, fit, having muscles, especially for females, really went against the grain of like Chinese culture and what like beauty and femininity should look like. You go to a High Rocks race in Hong Kong right now where there's 5,000 people racing and everyone is fit. And I'm talking like there are men, women in their 50s plus, young 20s and 30s, people who are clearly spending a lot of time in the gym, doing strength training and doing hard physical things. Like not afraid to like sign up for a race and throw everything at it.
Yeah.
And I think because of that, there's been this massive, I guess it's the middle market that has now emerged. If you've got one end of the market, you've got kind of like your F45s, your Barry's boot camps, your Orange Theories, right? Low barrier to entry, come in, do a hit workout. Opposite end, you've got CrossFit, high barriers to entry, fundamentals, high cost, etc., etc. So I think High Rocks has created this big middle market of people who have maybe graduated beyond the high intensity classes. They're smart people. They understand strength and conditioning. They understand periodization and overload and progression. They're not bored of doing necessarily the same thing over and over again to get better results. And I think for me, really opening my eyes and seeing that, wow, there is this huge market that actually really align with Coastal and what we believe in, right? We believe in, sound strength and conditioning principles. All of our programs have always been, mapped out in advance, and we follow progressions, and, our coaches are, very, very educated and well-versed and all that stuff. And we really believe in delivering a high value of coaching in every class or personal training session. So it's like, this is no different to what we do all the time. Just the modality of training looks a bit different now. How can we serve that market if not everyone wants to be a part of CrossFit? And so that's where the opportunity arose. Huge population of people doing it. we've got, some opportunities to add something to what we're already doing. Let's try and make this thing work. And we have an online build program which has continued to grow over the last 2 to 3 years. So we know there's a market there. And speaking to our affiliates, they're experiencing similar things. Different countries are going through different great growth phases, as we said, but they're all seeing this massive new market of the kind of high rocks functional fitness crowd who are coming to CrossFit gyms now, not because they want CrossFit, but because they want to do, squats, deadlifts, run, bike, ski erg, and do all that stuff. So, how can we try and serve that market whilst um, not losing touch with who we are, like, not losing our identity and kind of selling our souls to something else. And I think we've been able to do that.
Yeah, definitely something we're really excited to try and lean into for this coming new year. Yep. So my next question is,
How many questions do you have? That was
well,
not
we'll
quick
see.
fire, right?
That was not quick
Was
fire.
that okay?
Yeah, that was fine.
Okay, cool.
There's not that many. Okay.
Can I ask, did you think that was going to be my answer for what has been the biggest lesson of 2024?
I think it was gonna be something related to something Bjorn taught you for sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure exactly which one it was,
Yeah.
but I do see that that's something that has affected every area of what we do now. Like there always has to be factual information before we make any decisions. So I can understand that that was your answer.
Nice.
Okay, my second one. How have your relationships evolved this year?
Ooh, good question. Good question. Well, I got married this year.
Was that only this year?
Yeah, that was in February.
Holy shit.
So, love and home life has been amazing.
Oh.
It really has been great. I think I've loved being a husband and having a wife, and like having our relationship kind of like level up in that sense. I don't know what it is. Before I was a married man, it was like, well, it's just putting a ring on your finger and signing a paper. How different could life be? But it's like it's a promise and this commitment that you make to each other. This kind of like, it's not unsaid because you physically say the words when
Yeah.
you do make that vow to one another, but knowing that you've made that commitment just is this like unexplainable feeling that bonds you so much tighter than just a regular relationship would. So that's been incredible. I definitely say that since starting with my business mentor.
Camille, I hope you listen to this. That was an amazing answer.
And don't listen to this bit, Camille. No. Since starting with the business mentor, it's definitely changed, right? I've as I talked about in our last podcast, I feel extremely motivated again and feel very driven to want to be growing Coastal and the process. And so naturally, I put more time towards that. So it's given us a new challenge in our relationship because it's meant that I'm home a little bit less. I'm getting home later at night. I'm really focused on my work in the mornings, but I'm just lucky to have a wife that is super supportive in what I do. And she wants nothing but for me to succeed. So hasn't put any strain on our relationship, but she's been a good challenge for us to navigate something new. And I would say probably in a similar way, like the same for my friendships in the last kind of 3 to 4 months where I've been really committed towards the business. Like that's just been the thing I've wanted to spend more time doing. So the people who sit in the camp of like, well, life needs to be balanced. It's like you probably look at my life right now and say it doesn't seem very balanced. It seems like there's a big bias towards your professional life, and that's absolutely what I want. It's like I have goals that I've set for myself, and there's things that I really want to achieve, and I feel nowhere near achieving those things right now. And if you have big, lofty, crazy goals, that needs to be the thing that consumes your time and energy the most. You look at any amazing athlete who's at the top of their game, their life is their sport, and anything else that's not their sport gets in the way. If you look at the top most successful businessmen and women in the world, it's the same thing. And I'm just going through one of those phases right now where my professional life is the thing that I want to prioritize more than anything else. And so there are definitely times where I think about my friendships, and I think, well, have I spent enough time with those guys and girls in my life? And I think back to maybe 9 months or 12 months ago, I'm definitely seeing them less. But then I just bring it back to my priorities and my goals again. I'm like, but that's okay, and I've tried my best to explain that and share that with the people around me so that they understand and can support me on that journey and not feel neglected. with that, I think the relationships in my workplace have grown.
I do think you see your family more though.
Yeah, for sure. I'll get onto family in a
Okay,
sec.
sorry.
But I think it's important for me to say that, whilst this maybe the friends outside of work, my time spent with them is less, I would still say, they're still great friendships and very close people that aren't any less close. But because I'm spending more time, in the workplace, doing work, talking with people about work, my relationships in the gym with my co-workers and colleagues has gotten stronger. And again, it's just the nature of who I spend the most amount of time with. So that's been amazing as well. I have always said, the stronger your relationships can be in the workplace, the better the work that you do together. And I genuinely look forward to turning up to work and spending time with this team every day. I really, really mean that. And then, like you said, family. Family has been something I have invested a lot more time into in this last year. I genuinely think one of the things that has helped that is golf.
Oh my God. Your midlife crisis.
Yep. And I love it.
Oh God.
But I definitely think that
we need to show them your golf bag.
Mum
That's
and
the
Dad-
ultimate
which one?
midlife crisis, the brown one downstairs.
I can't even get rid of that right now.
Oh my
I'm
God.
giving it away for free and no one wants it.
It's because it's awful.
It looked way better on Taobao. A very quick break from this episode to talk about our sponsors, fetaq. Fetaq have an awesome training shoe, the All Move 3. It's a very versatile shoe and it's unbelievably comfortable. I've been using this shoe now for the last 4 months, and honestly, it has smashed every other training shoe I have used out of the water. And we have a unique discount code for the process. If you enter the process at checkout, you will receive a 20% discount. So head over to fetaq.hk and get your shoes now. Okay, anyhow. So I think, mum and dad have always been keen golfers. And I think two Christmases ago when I went to Thailand with them, I was like, you know what? Well, I played a bit of golf with them. I was awful, but I was like, I love this, like nature, get to hang out with my family. I'm really shit at something again. It's nice to have all those newbie gains and something. So I kind of committed to it 2 years ago. And I mean, my parents only spend about half the year in Hong Kong now. Otherwise, they're in Thailand or traveling. But every time they are here, every Thursday morning, we go out as a family. Unfortunately, my sister hasn't caught the bug yet, so she's the only one missing.
Good on you, Betsy.
She tried. I still think she might. But that's been amazing. Just having, 4 hours every Thursday morning where you're just together as a family and there's no one else has been really, really great. And I think, like anything, the more time you spend with people, the deeper your relationships grow, and then the more time you want to spend with them. So really just prioritizing time with them as much as possible. And I think as well, being married now, I really have 2 families. And it's been really nice investing time in, my wife's family as well and growing closer with them. And what's been really cool is seeing our 2 families come together.
Yeah.
And that is kind of like, when I got married, the thing that I thought would be the coolest thing to happen from this is if like our families became one big family that genuinely enjoys spending time together. And I feel like that's kind of blossoming now. My parents-in-law have gone to Thailand by themselves to spend time with my parents without us being there. And we can just have, very casual barbecues and time together, and it's just really nice. So yeah, that's relationships in a nutshell.
No, I think it's good to look back on stuff like that. I guess leading into my next question, like it definitely, from my point of view, looking at the business and at yourself, it's been a year of the process, quote unquote, and it's been a year of the journey. Sometimes we have years of that, and sometimes we have years of success and outcomes and successes or challenges, right? Failures. And I think this year has been a lot about the work and the grind and putting in the things we need to put in for future achievement, hopefully, right? But this, regardless of that, I would love to know what achievement besides your marriage you're most proud of this year. It's good to look back at stuff, Ed.
It is. No, I'm actually really, really enjoying these questions. The one achievement
you're most proud of. Marriage does not count. I know that's top.
Yeah, of course that's number 1.
Of course it is, Cammy.
But number 2, second biggest achievement. I kind of have 2. Because one's professional, one's personal.
Okay, fine. That's fair.
Okay. Honestly, the biggest professional achievement, I think, is hiring a mentor. because I felt for 2.5 years that there's something I've really wanted and I've needed. And I've kind of tried, but I haven't tried hard enough. I would kind of have these like half-ass attempts at trying to find someone and then be like, oh, I just quickly know that it wasn't the right person. And it's kind of like when you're looking for a girlfriend, when you're single, looking for a partner, you kind of just like give up and you just like, that person is just not out there.
That's me right
Yeah,
now.
that person is not out. I thought this wasn't about you, Izzy.
It's not about me.
Okay.
Sorry.
Because I would have asked you about relationships
No,
otherwise.
we're good.
Okay, so I just kind of got to that point where I was like, this is not meant to be. Or maybe when it's meant to be, I'll find that person. And I think, I made the decision. I went from being introduced to the person to making the decision really fast. And I'm really happy that I made that decision. And it's been a massive investment for me. But I 100% know that it's an investment that I will see return on, if not already. And so that's probably something that I'm most proud of, my biggest achievement professionally. I think my biggest achievement personally has been the Asia Fitness Championships and doing my first competition in person in 4 years. When I really thought that my body just couldn't do that stuff anymore. I had told myself the story that I would never be doing that. Body can't handle it anymore. I've had too many injuries. I'm too old, too blah, 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 fill in the blank. And, I picked the goal. I committed to it. I trained harder than I have done in the last 4 to 5 years, I would say. And I went and did it and I had an amazing experience. So happy I did it. And it's completely changed my mindset now in terms of pushing my body. And, I really want to continue to commit to hard physical things in the future and make sure that I have something to work towards throughout the rest of the time. So I'm really, that's been a massive achievement for me.
I do think they came hand in hand because I know we had a conversation right about when you hired your business mentor and when you signed up for this competition where I was kind of like, Ed, what the hell are you doing? Like, you're gonna fucking break. Like, you're not cut out for this shit. And then because of what the business mentor kind of instilled in your brain, being like, you're not pushing yourself, you're not challenging yourself, you're just taking it easy, you're just cruising. Like, I think that kind of fueled your thinking of like, I can do hard things and I can also still be okay to do these mentally hard things as well as physically hard things. And you proved yourself right. So I think that is
and I think I think the coolest part of it has been this realization of just, I think for me personally, just how much of a mindset change it was. Because for the last 4 to 5 months, honestly, like every week I finish my day and I'm like, I can't sustain this for much longer.
Yeah, we have that conversation all the time where it's like, I'm going to need a break soon, I'm going to need a break soon. But then every week you're still, I'm feeling great, I'm feeling good.
I'm like, I'm doing a competition, doing these online qualifiers, and my sleep time has been reduced by like hours. The amount of mental work I'm doing on a daily basis, 20 mads aren't happening every day anymore. There's all these things that have changed, and I've just been like, the old me was like, you're gonna die. You've got a couple weeks left. Like, enjoy the time.
No, it would be if my phone doesn't go off at 6 o'clock, I won't be able to survive, guys. So my
or genuinely like, I'm gonna get sick, I'm gonna get injured, I'm gonna hate this, I'm gonna be burnt out. But here I am 5 months later and I'm feeling just as energized as I was in day one. Touch wood, I haven't gotten sick. Touch wood, I haven't been injured. And it just shows that, that change in mindset when you believe that you can do harder things than you maybe think you can, and you got pushed through the hard times a little bit more. Your body will adapt and it will find a way to do it if that's what you really want your body to be able to do. So that has been a really cool lesson that's come out of all of it.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, last few questions.
Again, did you think I'd come up, those would be my answers? I,
again, thought the business mentor would be one of them. I wasn't sure if that would be the top one because you split it into two. I don't think that would be your personal one, ACC, but because I guess I wasn't there, so I didn't really fully experience what that was like for you. But in my mind, just how much you've been able to put yourself through this year would be what I would be most proud of you of over this last year. Because I don't think since I've known you, I've seen you challenge yourself physically and mentally as much as you have this last year.
I would say it's like when I think back to maybe the amount of like workload and physical the physical side is not that nowhere near as much as it used to be when I used to
Yeah.
train way harder and longer. But the biggest difference is, I think, just my emotional intelligence now as a 37-year-old versus my emotional intelligence doing the same amount of work when I was a 27-year-old. There was so much more negativity
Mm.
and just bad energy when I was a 27-year-old me, because I didn't know how to handle hard conversations,
Yeah.
difficult
Yeah.
times, negative, a poor mindset. All these things would just add this whole nother level of stress that I couldn't handle, which is why I would break all the time. But now, the same amount of workload, but just living in a very different mental space now, where I'm truly like, love who I am,
Mm.
very content with who I am and where I'm at. Sorry, I'm content with where I'm at, maybe not, but love who I am,
Yeah.
and have, tools from 37 years of living that allows you to navigate challenging times more. I think that is what's allowing me to do it, to be able to handle it, which is why I always say, like, you've got to invest in your personal growth all the time. It can't just be professional, doing
Yeah.
more work,
Yeah.
doing harder training. Like, you've got to work on your mind as much as all the other stuff if you want to be able to handle more, regardless of what you do.
Yeah. No, it's been a good year of your growth, I think. Even like as you said, being able to handle situations better and just be more of a leader and more of assertive in what you believe in instead of just trying to please everyone all the time, knowing
Yeah,
what's right for yourself and your business. I think that's grown, but I also think what's grown, I think I don't think emotional intelligence is the right word, but your ability to, I think you've always been able to sympathize with people, but I think now you're more sympathetic, if that makes sense. Like you you do care for people a lot more in the sense that it's not, well, if it's not in my free time, I can't do it. Like
yeah,
you make time now, and you're willing to give up things that you thought you couldn't give up before for other people, whereas that wasn't the same,
yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah. That's a really good observation. And actually, I think another big mindset shift for me this year has been just the act of giving
Mm.
and trying to just give as much as I can. It's like, even when I'm walking from home to the MTR, which is a train in Hong Kong, and I'm on the train and I'm getting off the train and I'm walking to work, I just had this like level of awareness now where I'm constantly looking around me for, like, is there someone I can help? Like, if it's like helping someone's suitcase down the stairs, or like holding a door open for an extra 3 seconds, or I don't know, whatever it is, it's just like this idea of our true value in life is how much we can give to others. And I really believe that. I'm not satisfied with how much I give, actually. Like, I have dreams of wanting to start a charity or do something significant where I'm helping others. I'd love to, take someone who can't afford it and mentor them to be someone incredible in something. I don't know what it is. I'd love to, like, take someone off the street and give free classes in our classes so they can come in and start looking after their health and wellness. I have these dreams of things I think about, and I know that it's something that in 2025 and beyond, like, I want to set some hard goals there so that I can give more. So, no, thank you for
No, I love
picking it
that.
up, because I
Of
think,
course.
yeah, I definitely think that's been something that's changed as well.
Okay, last question because we're at 40 minutes now. Are we? I think so.
Your maths is terrible.
Yeah, my math's are terrible.
Actually,
It is, right?
nah, 33 minutes.
Okay, I actually got two more questions. So I like these two questions. Okay. And it can't be anything that you've already said. Okay. We're not repeating ourselves here, Ed.
Okay.
Okay. What is one thing you want to let go of as you move into the new year? I think there's lots of things you could let go of this year.
All right. Would you like to answer this
No.
question?
So nothing we've already said.
Okay, so when you say that, I'm
Mhm.
intrigued. Are you thinking like actual things within my job and my work?
No,
No, okay.
obviously not.
When you say lots of things, I'm like, is there a lot?
No,
I'm
stuff like
struggling to
you
think of
just want to
one.
like
Okay,
release.
okay. Things I need to let go of. I want to let go of. Um. Okay, I want to start professionally. Something I want to let go of is I don't think it's a need for control, because I think I've done a good job over the years of letting go and passing on things that I don't need to do and that others can do better, but I think I can do a better job of it. And I don't it before that was driven by my ego. Now it's not driven by my ego. I think it's just I need to be more organized and on top of my shit. So I don't know if that's a letting go. I think that's more of just like I need to elevate and improve professionally to be able to see that stuff and let go when it's necessary. Letting go, there is something around, yes, this is one. Recently, and I think this only happened in the last 4 to 5 months. And I do really think this is tied to me investing in a mentor. I've developed a strange relationship with money. And the strange relationship I developed with money that I've realized has happened is that I have started to think that I need to be financially earning more. I think because there's lots of things that happened with my mentor when we went through our first onboarding process, I guess, where he's basically doing an assessment on me to figure out who I am, what I've achieved, and there was just things that were said in there that was absolutely not intended by him, but I think it struck me to make me feel insignificant and like I'm a massive underachiever, like I'm really terrible at my job. And I think I've said this to you a few times.
Yeah.
I say it to my wife all the time. I'm like, I just suck. I'm
Stop.
I'm sucking at being a
He
business
does. He
owner right
comes
now.
into the workplace and he's just like, I just suck. And I'm like, what the
And I've never, how long have you known me? I've
No,
never
you've
had
never
that
had
kind of
these
negative
insecure
self
thoughts.
talk.
Yeah.
And I think I've been reflecting this quite a bit recently because why am I saying this stuff? I don't normally have these kind of like this negative language around myself.
Mm.
Normally a pretty confident person that speaks very positively to himself. And I think a lot of it was because I had created this idea that for how much work I've done and how long I've earned this business, financially, I'm not earning what I think I should be. And I think that is really actually related to what I see others. I've started comparing myself because I'm comparing myself to other people who maybe number one, I'm comparing myself to a business mentor, who's achieved all this crazy stuff professionally that I'm like, oh, I'm so far behind. And then maybe I hear about his other students and what they're achieving. I'm like, oh God, I'm just running this crappy little gym, this crappy little online organization. I should have achieved so much more. And I realized that for the first time in my life, I'm starting to think, I was starting to almost make decisions based on my personal financial desires. Like, what paycheck do I want to earn? And what house do I want to live in? And blah, 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 blah. All these things that were like very superficial. I've never been that kind of guy. I've never been someone that's driven by money. I've always been driven by, doing things that feel right, helping people, etc., etc. And so I've only just really recently kind of like cut the chain on it though. But I think there's more letting go that needs to happen is where I'm going with this. And I've kind of brought myself back to center and said, when I focus on me, I'm just thinking about me. I've always thought about the bigger picture. And, the bigger picture for me has been like this organization, this company that's impacting so many people. And I had to just recently, I'm just talking about the last week, remind myself that value is about helping other people. The more you focus on money, the less you're going to see of it. Go back to what has always worked for you, which is focus on doing what feels right. Focus on providing value and helping other people and stress a little less about the money. And so what I want to let go of this year is that this like desire or this like, I don't know if it's greed, but like this focus on my own financial success. And I want to channel it back into the success of the business and the growth of the business. But I think I have more digging to do. Like there is something that's maybe it's happened in my childhood or in my younger years or something that's happened that has created this strange relationship with money for me. And the relationship with money for me is not so much that I really want it or I'm driven by it. The actual deeper relationship with money is that I just think it's just like, this awe-inspiring thing that is like just has obscene value on it that I'm just not worthy of. Don't know why. Don't know what it is. I hear money people talk about money like it's just this like object that's just like everyone has it. Don't worry about it. Like if you need it, you can get it and all be fine. But you can just lose it tomorrow. So don't get too attached to it. I'm like, what? I just think it's this thing that's so precious. And I don't know. There's clearly in how
That's the Asian in us, Ed.
maybe, but how like clearly in like listening to myself right now
Yeah.
and how I'm just going all over
Yep.
the place. It's like
You-
there's more meditating that needs to
Before
be
the
done on
year
this.
ends,
I need
you
to
need to
figure it
sit
out.
on this.
Yeah.
I think my wish for you.
That's gonna be my question to you. Is
Yeah.
like you said you got so many things you can let go of. I'm struggling to find one here.
I think it is something. It's similar. I didn't expect money to come out of your mouth.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's along the same lines. Like as much as Bjorn, our business mentor, has done amazing things for us in this business, my wish for you to go into 2025 is to still keep him on our lives, but for you to be able to have him in your life without the need to please him.
Yeah.
I think that's a big thing that you need to let go of this year, because no matter how much I say it, and I know you wanted someone in your life to kind of bring you back down to earth, and maybe we don't enough praise you, but you've done an amazing job, and like everything that you've achieved and everything that you've done, and like you don't suck, you're amazing. And like I don't say these things because I feel like you never needed me to say these things, because Ed loved Ed more than Ed loves anyone else. But
Almost a compliment.
which is why I never felt like I needed to.
Yeah.
But then since Bjorn came into our life, I've seen the side of you that I've never seen before that I don't like, because you wouldn't wish that on anyone else. I see me before you came into my life, and you enabled me to have self-confidence and positivity and not talk to myself like that. And now you're doing those things to yourself. And so my wish for you is for that to go away, and that you be able to have Bjorn or someone in your life who challenges you but doesn't bring you down. And I think that's what you need to let go of.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to quickly interrupt this episode with a quick shout out to our sponsors, Today Well Spent. I've been using this journal for 2 years and it has made a massive impact on my physical, but mostly my mental well-being. It is a guided journal backed by neuro and behavioral science, which I actually didn't know at the time. It has questions for you to answer at the start of the day, at the end of the day, end of every week, end of every month. And it's brought so much self-awareness to me of the things that positively and negatively impact my life. So if you're someone who cares about your physical and your mental well-being, which I think you do because you listen to this podcast, then go and grab yourself a Today Well Spent. Use the discount code THEPROCESS, one word in capitals, to get your discount. I agree with that. Thank you for the reminder. I think that's another, I think again, the deeper rooted thing there is like, why do I feel this need to please him? And it's not even pleasing. It's like, it's not wanting to let him down.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think I shared this with you a little bit, but there's like something around, I can see, I'm getting a lot of flashbacks to like younger Ed with his dad and like always wanting to impress my dad. I don't know what it is, but then now like my mentor has become that dad figure now in many ways. Hasn't replaced my dad, but I just feel all those feels that I need to impress him. I can't let him down. And you know, if he's not singing my praises, then I just feel like a bit of a failure. And then I kind of go into my shell a bit, and I need to. Yeah, and it's been happening a lot for sure. It's interesting because when I talk about it sometimes to people, they say, sounds like, you know, your mentor's just really harsh on you. He needs to, you know, praise you more. He needs to be nicer to you. And I'm like, I don't think it's that. I think it's how I'm responding to the things he's sharing. That's the thing that needs to change. Like, we can't go around the world expecting everyone to speak to us in a perfect way that suits us best. The world doesn't work that way. And so if I'm getting triggered by something, it's not for him to change. It's for me to figure out why it's triggering me. Like, why is it triggering me? And get to root cause of that so that it doesn't trigger me anymore. And so this relationship, well, this whole experience of working with someone new, and like we always say, like, you know, the biggest lessons of life come from times when you're challenged. And I've definitely been challenged working with this guy, and I've seen this kind of new side to me that I'm like, whoa, I'm definitely uncovered something here that I did not think existed. And I'm excited to find out why. So yeah, thank you for the reminder.
No worries. Okay, last one. This should be short, but let's see.
Hmm.
One word to
Oh,
describe
I hate these ones.
2024. That's it. Then you're done. You get one word to describe 2024.
Evolution.
I love that. That's a good word. No, Alex doesn't think it's a good word.
The reason I said evolution was because the things that on the tip of my tongue were like growth, change. Yeah, growth and change are like two big ones. Yeah, and it's just like it's a real year of just evolving to something new. Evolving something new. We're not abandoning our old selves, but it's like it's aggressive evolution. It's a faster evolution this year than I've seen in the last 5. So yeah, 2 words. Rapid evolution. What about your word? What's your one word? I'm going to ask
Not
you
about
one
me.
question.
Nope, not about me. I want to go. Yeah, I do think evolution has been. Ed became a married man. Who
Yep.
knew?
Yeah.
Single Playboy Ed would become
Yeah.
a married
Thought
man.
I was going to be a bachelor till the day I died.
Exactly. So that was huge. Did you just become a master's this year? Or was that last year?
That was 2 years ago.
Well, I think you really became a master's this year.
Why? Because I started playing golf?
Yeah, in all aspects of your life. The way
Okay.
we've had to change the way you've dressed a couple times because
I think
it
I've
was
actually
just.
got more stylish this year. I think my fashion has evolved this year.
I think your long socks with shorts yesterday
That was just
was
poor
not a
packing.
vibe.
That was poor preparation.
So we've had to fix that a couple times. Some of the words you were just too old to know.
Nah, I'm not changing that.
So masters this year has hit hard.
Yep.
And then the change in the business, it's grown a lot in the back end. We've changed loads of things, and services, we've changed loads of things. So yeah, I think it has been a big year of change, evolution. Not full change, but evolution is the right word.
Nice. Thank you for these questions.
No, I hope you enjoyed it.
I really
hope
enjoyed it.
people will enjoy it.
There was lots of good opportunities for reflection. And actually just yesterday on my call with my mentor, we went through just some key headings of reflections and goal setting for 2025. And it was under the buckets of professional, personal, social, and and health. And what are the things in 2025 that I really want to work on? And some of them were a lot easier. I got to professional, I found it very hard because I realized like I don't really know what I want to achieve. And again, that's old Ed doing just like, the going with the gut thing again. Yeah. So these conversations, like there's definitely things in the questions you've asked me that I'm going to bring into those goals now, especially around the personal stuff that I want to dig into a little more and get some more clarity on.
Yeah, and you have a week left of the year. I hope you do take some time to reflect on the things you need to do, and we'll come back in January ready to
crush
and
evolve.
Yep.
Thanks, Izzy.
No worries. Bye.